Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Report. And yeah, it's in the mid 40s tonight after a very warm day, and I have to have the air conditioner on in here. The alley, they got the laundry exhaust going. You're getting dryer fumes, and it's warm. So honestly, I felt fine. I feel sick. I got back in here. I got this. Can't breathe in this place, and I got a headache. Well, anyway, let's try to get this weather report going here for you. 45 degrees outside, but it was quite warm today. Quite warm indeed. We're going to go to the highs. We're going to take a look at these highs on the map because we got well into the mid 60s, way warmer than I was expecting. Mid 60s, 65 for a high across most of Long Island. And even on the South Shore, it got into the low 60s. The sea breeze was very weak and really didn't kick in until later in the day. 65. Central Park got to 62, LaGuardia got to 63, JFK 61. And looking down into Jersey, about the same, 63 in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River. But in downtown, it was actually cooler, 59, because I guess they had a little more of a sea breeze there. Go figure. Looking at the lows, yeah, there was radiational cooling last night, 25 in West Hampton, 34 in Islip. And only 44 in Central Park, which is probably about where my alley was. And also got dropped down to the 26 in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River. Looking at the satellite, definitely seeing advancing clouds. Man, look at all that. What is all this? This contrails here? That's kind of weird to see that. What is that? But this is the current satellite image. The satellite image from earlier shows we had more sunshine, but there was some scattered. If you look closely, you can see some scattered contrails, and that's what we had in the sky today. Couldn't see that, and it was really kind of gross. But then there were some breaks of clear sky too. Yep, was in the pines for a little bit today, and walking around Deer Park, it was a huge mess. You're going to see that video, and then yeah, of course, this is Babylon. I think this pine looks happier than the one in Deer Park, right? It's in Babylon, I guess. Argyle Lake. You can see again some of those contrails that were around. There was no actual cirrus. It was just the plains creating because there was moist upper levels. And you can see this storm offshore. Easterly winds throwing fog into the Cape Cod area. And then we have this other big storm again, another big storm in the Midwest with severe weather along this frontal boundary here. Yeah, we'll go to the current satellite loop, and we'll show you that. Let's go to the current satellite loop. Yeah, here we go. Here's that storm again. Big storm. And if we change this to show the lightning, I'm sure there's probably quite a few thunderstorms. Yep. Quite a few severe thunderstorms here, and another tornado outbreak as well, ongoing. Let's look at our statistics for the day. It does not look like we broke any records today. Don't see any record reports, but we did have a high of 65 at Islip. Normal high is 48, so a full 17 degrees above normal. Low of 33 was right at normal, however, because we did have good radiational cooling. But the average for the day is 49, which puts us 9 degrees above normal. It was quite a warm day across the area. I'll show you what the day was like at Islip today. I thought the high was going to be more like mid to upper 50s. I was way off. I thought because of the easterly wind, but we're seeing this more and more now with easterly, but there's almost barely a wind during the day. Well, that probably explains why it got so warm. There was barely any wind at all at Islip. That probably explains it right there. And then the sea breeze really didn't come in until after 5 o'clock when it started coming in. If we look at some of these stations on the South Shore, even West Islip got up to 62. However, you'll see here that, yeah, they were pretty warm up until 5 o'clock as well. So even on the South Shore, it seems, the sea breeze was very weak. It really didn't get going until, we'll pick another site here. They got up to 60. Let's look at Massapequa. Maybe they had a better sea breeze. Yeah, they had dropped to the mid 50s by all right. They were cooler, so it looks like maybe you had to be right on the water south of Merrick Road to really feel a sea breeze. Basically, that's we had to be. And then in Jersey, I think they might have had a better sea breeze there than we did. Let's check the station for downtown Toms River, where it hit 59. So it was cooler. It was a lot cooler there. Yeah, they were, they were only in the mid-50s. So they had an east wind. It looked like they had more of a sea breeze than we did over there. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. That's for sure. So very interesting. Farmingdale. I'm just going to see what Farmingdale got up to. It's not Farmingdale. That's not Farmingdale either. 45. Got up to 63 there. So again, pretty warm. And the dew points were pretty low during the day too. We had dew points in the 20s, which means the humidity was down as low as, let's see, in the 20s as well. So you notice how the humidity has gone up considerably tonight as the marine air is moving in. And that's the change that we're going to see in our weather as this marine air moves in. You can see this little disturbance here. This isn't affiliated with this system here. But if we look at the weather map here, it's not even showing that disturbance, but it's almost like a little backdoor front that's trying to set up to our west, I guess. This is this big system, again, in the center of the country here. And it's, again, fairly deep, and it's causing severe weather. And you see that there is a slight risk for the severe weather there in the upper Mississippi River Valley. And looks like they do have a tornado watch for that area as well. And let's see, there were 9 reported tornadoes today as well. So, 9 reported tornadoes. Let's see if we can get a map. All right, so we had 9 reported tornadoes, 58. Usually they used to have a map here. I don't know where it went. Oh, maybe it's this. Yeah, here we go, storm reports. So here's the map. Let me go back over to it. You can see the red is where the tornadoes were. So it looks like Illinois actually had most of the tornadoes. And then that was surrounded by wind reports. So severe weather, definitely an issue. I'll go back to the overview here, and we'll go to the convective outlook for tomorrow. There is no severe for tomorrow. So good news is it won't be as bad as the last one, but it's still definitely causing some severe weather in the center of the country. And obviously, with this type of system, you're going to get that. And if we look at the radar, show you the activity from the radar here. And you can see this line here. That's now going through Indianapolis into Kentucky. And see if there are any active warnings out with this line. And you can see there's also a red flag warning also out ahead of the front, oddly enough. Red flag warning in effect for this area here. A good part of West Virginia, it looks like, is affected. And then we have the severe thunderstorm watch, the tornado watch. There's some pretty strong winds involved with this as well. Now let's just switch this over to warnings. I said I don't feel well, so you're going to have to bear with me. I was feeling fine until I got into this place. I was feeling fine until I got in here. So it looks like we have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings, no active tornado warnings at the moment. So that's good news. Let's put this to the regular one, and let's take a look at the loop showing the daytime here. Let's see if there's any dust. Yeah, looks like there is some dust being picked up. Has that dust made it into... No, I don't see any dust on here, so... It's possible there could be some dust in here. I don't see... Yeah, it looks like there is some, but it's mainly over Texas. It's getting pushed. It's actually getting pushed to the south. I see it. So if we go look at the loop here, Southern Plains, you'll see the dust. There it is. So it looks like it's getting pushed off to the south. Yeah, I don't ever remember seeing dust storms to the degree that we're seeing, and the spring is just getting started. So let's talk about the weather we're going to be dealing with now. We'll go to the models here. And you'll see this low pressure area here. That goes way up into the lakes. And we're stuck kind of between that, and then we have this backdoor front marine flow that's coming in. And that is going to mean that we're maybe dealing with some fog and, sucky drizzle for at least part of late tonight into tomorrow. This front moves through later on Thursday night and could bring a good shot of rain for our area. Showers. I don't know if we're going to see any thunderstorms from this. support with this is not as good as the last one. And then that slowly moves away by Friday, and we see improving conditions. But again, you notice how tight those isobars are. That means we're going to be dealing with wind, and we very well may need a wind advisory for Friday. So let's go to the HRRR model. I guess we'll start with the 0Z HRRR first. It's showing you what it does with this rain. It doesn't really even look all that impressive. It looks like it doesn't really show any precipitation over us, but there may be sucky drizzle. It's been slowing this front down a little bit now, so even if there isn't sucky drizzle, it's possible that at least the first part of your Thursday night could be dry, but by after 10 o'clock, it starts arriving into the city and then Long Island, and then kind of slows down a little bit. This is something we've been expecting for this low to do. It's kind of slowing down a little bit as it moves over New England, and then we have all that wind behind it. Now, total accumulated precip as far as rainfall won't be as much as the last one. It's showing, at least this is the HRRR, it's showing around a quarter to a half inch of rain. Maybe some other areas, isolated areas, might get over a half an inch. Again, this is what the HRRR is showing. And I think the reason for that, we'd have to go to the GFS. Let's see what the GFS is showing. Similar deal. So the reason for that, if we go to the 700 to 300 humidity, you'll notice there really isn't a whole lot of moisture here to work with. So it doesn't have that tropical feed like the last one. So there won't be an LLJ with it. So that's why we're not going to have the heavy rainfall, and that's why I'm not really too bullish on thunderstorm threats either. The NAM, I don't have the latest NAM, and we can look at the 18Z NAM, which is an old run. It's showing it to a little faster, the faster timing, but I don't know if I agree with that. And that rain is really not very impressive at all. So the model's really backed off on how much rain we're going to get with this, because again, there just isn't all that much moisture. So we'll go back to the HRRR now, and we'll look at the dew points and wind flow here. Obviously, we've got the east winds that brings the moisture up, and you see the east and southeast winds. Well, we have suddenly southeasterly winds tonight are going to turn more easterly tomorrow, but it won't be all that windy. And it starts to turn more easterly in the morning, and then it becomes more southeasterly. But you see the dew points don't really get that high. There's no real heavy moisture with this, which is why I think we're not going to see as much rain as initially forecast. As we get toward Friday, the winds become northwesterly, and you see that we have a colder airflow coming in. Not that cold. The air mass won't be that cold. It'll be colder, and it'll feel colder with that wind. So looking at the temperatures, obviously tonight the clouds coming in. I think there's going to be a lid on any of the temperatures. We probably won't get much below 40, and then for tomorrow, this is very interesting. You can see it has much warmer temperatures over Philadelphia. This is almost like a backdoor front that's probably parked right here, and that may be the reason why we may have that sucky drizzle around, perhaps. But if you go inland, Philadelphia, you're going to be well into the mid-60s. Eastern PA, you're going to have a warm day. But for us, we're going to be stuck in the marine clouds, so that is part of the reason why our temperatures are probably going to be struggling to get up to 50 degrees tomorrow. And then it'll be staying in the 40s overnight. And then for Friday, it really doesn't have us warming up that much. It has a lot of temperatures struggling to get to 50, which indicates we may be dealing with a lot of cloud cover on Friday. Let's see what this sounding has. Yeah, it's got low cloud cover for Friday. Let's see what the HRRR. Similar deal over Jersey, too. So it seems to have our area in some kind of cyclonic cloudiness, which could help to keep the temperatures down on Friday. So let's look at some of the other models that we have here for the, I don't really have that many others to look at. We can go to the HDRPS, I guess, see how this handles the front. You see the HDRPS, see that actually is showing the drizzle. You can see the drizzle Thursday morning. Now, the good news is toward the afternoon it tends to go away. So hopefully, maybe we'll just be dealing with the sucky drizzle in the morning and it won't be all day. Now, as far as the rain goes, yeah, it seems like it's trending later now. So this is 10 o'clock, and you can see here it has a heavy rain over Jersey, perhaps popping up, but then it kind of dies out a little bit, and then this looks a little wetter than some of the other models. But either way, it's kind of slow to leave. It could still be raining out east Friday morning, and then it finally gets out of here. Now, this looks like it gives us a little more rain. Yeah, a little more. So it seems like it's had some heavier cells perhaps popping up over Jersey. And again, with that warm air there, that could act as a focal point where they could see maybe closer to 1 inch of rain. So we'll have to see how that all pans out. I'm not really, with all the lack of moisture, I'm really not too bullish on any thunderstorms or anything like that with this front that is going to be moving through. RGM, we'll look at this for the skies as well. So obviously tomorrow we won't be seeing any sunshine at all. It'll be cloudy, but it could brighten up toward the afternoon, perhaps out west. These are probably higher clouds here, but it could brighten up just to our west, and we might see some brightening in the afternoon, perhaps, and then obviously clouds overnight. And then Friday, the RGM gets the clouds out of here pretty quick, actually. So by late morning, it's out of the area for most of us, except for eastern Suffolk County, and it keeps moving east. That's what the RGM is showing. However, other models aren't showing that to the same degree. Now, I don't have the NAM in the 0Z NAM to look at. I can look at the 18Z NAM and see. Yeah, it kind of has the clouds hanging on a little bit more. Not too much more, but it does have it sunny by the afternoon. However, again, some of the other models, particularly the shorter range guides, the HRRR and the GFS, are saying not so fast, getting rid of the clouds. Here's the GFS, by the way. So you can see, not so fast at all. So let's look at the Ventusky site. And just for doubt, we'll need to worry about this. But again, it's showing how the warmth is over there, but we got the marine flow. One thing we can do is use this to show fog, and it is showing some dense fog over Long Island. This may be off. The last time it showed this, and we didn't have dense fog. So this may be off, and it most likely is. But let's go to thunderstorms. I don't see any cape here. It's well off to the west, so I don't think we're going to have any thunderstorms tomorrow night. Maybe, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. So once we're done with that, Friday we deal with the wind, and this is the HRRR cloud output for Friday, and you can see it's showing a lot of clouds. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so there could be a lot in the cyclonic flow. I'll have a better idea tomorrow night, I think, when I have more models to look at. But one thing we will be dealing with is the wind. So it's showing wind gusts to 27, but let's see, it might even get worse later on. 36. It's not really showing them that high. But this might be underestimating the wind a little bit, because those isobars look pretty tight, and that may be a wind advisory day. Let's go to windy.com and use the European model. Just take a look at the winds for Friday, as well as tomorrow we'll look at as well. So these are, that's not wind gusts. We got to put this up to wind gusts. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's gusting to around 40, I think, so possible. It's close for a wind advisory. It's close. We may not be all the way there, though. But it is close. It will be windy. And if we don't get a lot of rain, that's going to be a problem for wildfire danger. So hopefully we get a decent amount of rain, at least enough to at least a half an inch or something. Now, as far as tomorrow goes, obviously we can look at visibility and see how this does with the... Alright, that's 10 o'clock. Let me just lower this here. So it's not showing any precipitation earlier on in the evening. Let's thunderstorms, nothing for tomorrow. But fog, it's not saying we're having any fog, but visibility, it does have some reduced visibility. So this is what I mean. We may have to deal with sucky drizzle lingering around. It's really hard to predict how that all works. This thing can be way off. Like it's showing patches and almost looks like showers, but then we go to precipitation, it's not showing any. So it's a little off, but it's very hard to predict the drizzle. But it all depends on if the sun can burn through that stratus deck. Luckily, the thing that is on our side is sunshine. Now solar power, obviously, there's none. UV index is not showing any for tomorrow at 6 o'clock, but it's showing low. So let's see what we got here. Solar power. All right, it's I'm just messing around with some of these other things here. Um, but that's the thing, how fast that marine deck is going to go to cloud base here. All right, so this kind of shows cloud base here. And you can see it does have a 100-foot cloud base. It's not showing 0, but we're going to have to watch for the drizzle, and hopefully it doesn't ruin the whole day. I do not want to be stuck inside all day. So hopefully by the afternoon it will stop. But the morning you're definitely going to be dealing with sucky drizzle. So I guess that wraps up this Long Island weather report. Have a good night.